Hello, I'm here with Marie Dillon today as part of our wellbeing conversation. So this is part of the Winter Wellbeing Programme at the London Irish Centre running throughout the month of December. And Marie joins us. She is the health officer at Irish in Britain, and she also delivers mental health and resilience training as part of her own company. And this morning, or today rather, we're going to be talking about mornings. We're going to be talking about morning routine and how to have a healthy morning routine. So, Marie, delighted to have you with us here today.
Thanks very much for inviting me on, Brian. It's always a pleasure to work with the London Irish Centres. I'm very happy to be here.
Great to see you. So, Marie, can you maybe start by telling us what is the importance of having a healthy morning routine? Why focus on the morning?
So, the morning routine is something that I discovered for myself a few years ago when I had left my job here in London. I decided I wanted to set up my own business, but at the same time, I was having some health struggles, particularly with my gut health and digestive issues. And as I was exploring my health solutions further and really looking into the mind body connection and what I could do holistically to improve my health, the morning routine was something that kept on coming up and coming up. And simultaneously, as I was kind of growing my business and learning more about, how business works and kind of watching YouTube videos, reading books on what all of the top performers were doing, the morning routine started to show up there as well. So it really kind of struck a chord with me, this morning routine idea, because I've been somebody who had never been a morning person. I previously worked in the hospitality industry, so I was more likely going to bed at 6 a.m. rather than getting up at 6 a.m. Um, so I was kind of like, this is something, when something strikes a chord with you. And as well as that, when I was setting up my own business, I found, you're kind of by yourself. It's a bit lonely, a bit scary. You have to motivate yourself, and that can be difficult to kind of get yourself into that motivated state every day. So decided to take on this morning routine for myself, and it's something that I'm very passionate about now. And the reason is because I found it has helped set me up for better health, better emotional health every day, bit more happiness. I'm more productive at work. And it's something that it sets the tone for my day every day. And of course, your life is just a series of days, really. So, and we try so many different things, from exercise and all these different well-being things. But I found with the morning routine, because you do it in the morning first thing, there's no excuse not to do it. And I think one of the biggest reasons that maybe prevents us from incorporating these well-being habits is life is so busy, and there's always something, to take. Or we might have planned to do some well-being session for ourselves some afternoon, but something always seems to come up. Whereas the morning routine for me kind of ticks all of those boxes, and I always, I feel like I've started my day off well and kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day. So that's my reason. I'm sure there's plenty of other reasons why people do it, but that's from my personal point of view.
Mm, So it's essentially it's getting your day off to a good start, setting that tone, as you say, for the rest of the day. And something I'm interested in because a lot of people find the mornings quite challenging, maybe find it difficult to get up in the mornings. Is does sleep come into it at all? Is in terms of getting enough sleep?
Well, I always say when we do a lot of coaching on the morning routine actually through our resilience sessions. And I always say your morning routine tends to start the night before. So it does help when you have got, a good night's sleep. You do feel a little bit more refreshed and energized to actually get up and do your morning routine. So that definitely does help. Having said that, what I found, there's some nights it's not always possible to get your 7 or 8 hours or whatever the case is. But even if you can't wake up and do your normal full routine, say that I would usually do, even if I just still keep the habit going and do something for 2 minutes, it's keeping that kind of pattern going, and I don't break the loop. And that's kind of the way you form, I suppose, new neural pathways, where it just becomes this automatic thing that you do every day. So yes, sleep definitely helps, but at the same time, you can work around it if you have missed out, or you've been burning the midnight oil, or whatever the case is.
Okay, so you're saying if if you have the a late night, and of course, life happens. Sometimes we don't get to bed as early as we can, or as early as we'd like to. But you're saying, keep that routine regardless, or keep at least keep some elements of it.
I do, Brian, simply because I feel like it's great for motivation anyway, just to keep yourself, your kind of self-efficacy. If you kind of track your progress, which is something that I did when I started doing my morning routine, I just printed out a little A4 page with kind of the 30 days in it, and I tracked my progress so I could build it up as a habit. Now, I tried it before having a tracker and didn't work out too well. So I found the tracker was really, really useful. But it also, you have to bear in mind as well, it's the kind of compounded effect of these results over time. It's a little bit like your exercise or nutrition. Going to the gym maybe once a week or having a salad today doesn't really do anything. It's neither here nor there. It's these little, seemingly inconsequential things that we do, kind of like brushing our teeth every day, but the results all add up over time. So it's not a guarantee that brushing your teeth every day, that you'll never have to get a filling, but your chances are much higher of not having to get a filling if you do put in those few minutes every morning and evening to look after your teeth. So that's kind of the way I view my morning routine. It's just a daily kind of non-negotiable for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that analogy of the brushing of the teeth, and I suppose it is really kind of long-term effects. You may not notice too much apart from maybe, I don't know, the smell of bad breath or something if you miss
Yeah,
it on one morning, but over time you will of course develop problems. Um,
exactly.
and I mean, something that I'm terrible for doing is pressing the snooze button when the alarm goes off. And I hear that's a bad thing. Is that a bad thing to do?
Well, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm definitely, as I said, I was never a morning person. I actually thought morning people, I was like, who are these people? Why would anybody get up early if they didn't have to? So, what I have found for the snooze button is literally putting my phone across the other end of the room. And to help me with that, a kind of a double whammy benefit of it is it means I'm not scrolling on my phone in bed either. And that also is going to help improve the quality of your sleep too. So, and I think as well, once you've done it a few times and you've started to build this habit, your brain makes associations very, very quickly. So it's sooner rather than later, it is going to associate your snooze with actual getting up rather than pressing the snooze alarm. So your brain is very smart, and it'll make these associations quickly. So you can rebuild that habit and kind of change your associations with little hacks like that.
Well, that's a really good tip, because I find personally I can have a run of weeks, even months, where I get up on my first alarm, and then I slip into kind of a bad habit of
Yeah.
snooze, snooze, snooze. But you're saying about a kind of a good tip for kind of creating that habit, because that's something I'm kind of interested in, I suppose. How do you actually, what steps to create and develop a good habit? Because doing it once, as you say, is neither here nor there. But when you can do it every day, that is what makes the kind of the lasting difference. So you said about keeping a calendar and kind of ticking off the days. Is that something you still do, or you suggest that's something to do kind of as you're developing the habit?
Well, I actually still do it, but I've grown my checklist now. So I used to have my morning routine in there, and I'll also have certain things like maybe, random act of kindness, or I'll have a few different things on my list that I check off every kind of day. And then it's a great way to kind of, it leaves patterns and clues, so you can reflect back on this tracker, and you'll notice kind of, well, what was going well, what was I doing my morning routine, or was I doing XYZ, and you'll see kind of the correlation in your results, whether that's with your health or your business or your job, or whatever the case is. So I'm a huge fan of tracking progress. And as well as that, I find it really beneficial for helping me kind of commit to the process. So sometimes we're very goal orientated, and goals are brilliant. You know, humans are goal striving organisms essentially, but sometimes we kind of want this instant gratification and we want to get to the top of the mountain rather than kind of enjoy the climb. So I find having this tracker helps me hone in on these little daily habits, really work on kind of getting better and grow personal growth and really enjoying the process, rather than just constantly feeling like you have to achieve and do more and have more. This kind of really keeps me in the moment as well. And I know a lot of performers use trackers, like high performers, whether it's athletes or in business, use trackers as well, because if you can kind of reward your progress and not even necessarily feel amazing about it, but just register your progress, it helps elicit dopamine release in the brain. And dopamine sometimes is called our reward hormone, but it's really more related to our motivation and effort. So it's actually what keeps us going and keeps us moving forward. So it's like that forward moving neurotransmitter. So that's definitely a big fan of the tracker.
That sounds really great. A way to bring in that kind of sense of reward and sense of achievement, while
Yeah.
also building up a healthy habit. So I suppose my next question is, what is a good healthy morning routine then? What does it involve?
Well, it's different for everybody. Well, when we're working with law firms and lawyers in particular, we have a few, pretty much five kind of core habits that we recommend. And the people who are training, they can choose one, two, three, four, five. It's completely up to that person, depending on what you want to achieve, where you are now, kind of where you want to go. But the key five elements that we hone in on so that people can be more kind of empowered and consciously create their day rather than being kind of just in the ebb and flow of whatever's in the environment grabbing their attention. So we've created these five things that really help people take control and kind of stay in the driver's seat. The first one is something I was really skeptical about when I first heard about it, and I know you probably know a lot about this from your mindfulness work, is meditation. So meditation, as I said, I was very, very skeptical about it, but thankfully, due to neuroimaging, I was proved wrong. Regular meditation practice has been really shown to it actually change the structure of the brain, so it can increase the gray matter and white matter in your frontal cortex. So that's that area of the brain responsible kind of for your executive, your higher thinking, higher order thinking, decision making, problem solving, and all of those really important things in modern life. And as well as that, meditation, for me, I find it helps kind of calm down those automatic negative thoughts and that really kind of overactive inner critic many of us have. So it's really beneficial for that. And in terms of the lawyers we work with, they once they've kind of had a consistent meditation practice, we hear the feedback time and time again, how they find they can concentrate better, they're making less errors, they're able to focus more, their memory even seems to be improving. So lots and lots of cognitive and I would say probably psychological benefits to meditation that you can achieve. When it comes to practicing meditation, it's a little bit like finding a sport that you like. There are thousands of different types of meditations and sports or whatnot out there. So it really is a little bit of a case of trial and error. Find the one that kind of works for you. And it's, again, like sport, it takes a bit of practice. You're not going to be completely Zen Buddha after one morning of doing a meditation. It does take a little bit of time. There's a great meditation by a former monk called Dandapani, who it's like a 5-minute, 10-minute meditation. You can adjust the length accordingly, and that I follow on YouTube. Same one I do every day, I find it great. So that's meditation. The second kind of core element is all about appreciation. So it's kind of eliciting positive emotional states. So we know our emotions are really, really powerful, and our emotional brain is 3 times more powerful than our kind of thinking brain and quicker. So managing our emotions is really important for our well-being and for our health in general. So eliciting positive emotions such as gratitude has been extensively studied in terms of its benefits for promoting well-being, and even things like improving your immune system, a whole host of different benefits to gratitude. Now, when it comes to gratitude, you might just spend 2 minutes maybe writing down one or two things that you're grateful for, maybe why you're grateful for it. It's not really a tick the box, my cat, dog, partner, job. It's more about eliciting that feeling. And that's what creates the biochemical change in your body and this positive emotional state that's really powerful for your well-being. The third section then is called reflect. So this is all about taking time to kind of be the observer of your life and reflect on maybe the goals you've set for yourself, kind of what's working, what's not working, maybe where you need to divert, or maybe there are roadblocks in the way. And I think this is an important stage because a lot of us living a purposeful, meaningful life that we feel aligned to and congruent with, and is in line with our core values, is really important for our well-being. And I know at one point for me, I thought I'd climbed the ladder and got where I wanted to go, but it turned out it wasn't really the right ladder for me. So I think reflecting on our goals and really being in tune with those is so important for our well-being and our mental health. And it's also, in this reflection stage, it's a useful time to maybe address any issues that you might have coming up, because otherwise you might find yourself in bed at night and suddenly all of these worries start coming to the surface. And really that's just your brain trying to protect you, because its main goal is, of course, survival. And if we don't kind of identify and resolve any emotional worries or things that we have, the brain is just going to keep trying pushing it forward. And if we're distracted all day working and we don't take time to address these, that's usually when it pops up, is at night. So that's the reflect stage. The fourth stage is kind of the intention or the identity stage. And this is all about picking out maybe 3 or 4 key statements, I am statements, that sum up kind of who you are or who you want to be. So our identity, again, is a huge part of our well-being and our mental health, and a big part of our life, what drives us, what satisfies us, and determines, what we do, what we don't do. So picking out maybe your health, maybe it's just your general mindset, or maybe you've got an I am statement about who you are in your career, is a really great way to kind of center yourself every day. So you've got, who you are in terms of all of these different roles that you play in life. And I think that's, again, something that I found really, really beneficial for me, because identity is so important to us all. And lastly then is the energize section. And energize is all about energizing the mind and the body. And we do that through, maybe it's 5 minutes exercise and some healthy nutrition. So exercise, again, something I sound probably like was the laziest person ever, didn't like getting up early, didn't like exercise, but I'm converted now. So exercise is one of those things that, we all know the benefits of it, but it's, as humans, we're not really designed to like exercising for the sake of exercising. Yes, we're designed to move, but through our evolutionary biology, we're actually designed to want to conserve energy. So sometimes it's difficult to exercise, but the benefits for our well-being are so important, because we know that the mind and body are so intricately connected. It's very hard to manage the mind with just the mind. So using your body and can be really helpful. And we can all probably relate to as well when we felt very stressed, and you can kind of feel it in your shoulders or maybe your lower back, or whatever the case is. The body, it can be a storehouse for stress and kind of trapped energy. So exercise is a great way to release that. Then when it comes to nutrition, this is all about kind of flooding your body with nutrients and giving your body what it needs to be healthy and vibrant and energized for the day ahead. And a lot of us, nowadays, it's kind of difficult to it's so easy to eat the wrong things, basically. So we do have to make a bit of a conscious effort to keep our diets relatively healthy, or as healthy as we can, whatever is within reason for us. So this is where the nutrition side to it comes in. And again, we tend to kind of work one to one with people on that side of things, because our nutrition is very personal and everybody's different as well. So they're the kind of 5 core elements, and depending on what's accessible to the individual, we tend to work with people that way. But they're just 5 ideas that you might take on board, or you might just say, I'm just going to start with 2 minutes gratitude. And that might be all you ever do. And that could be absolutely perfect and a great way to set the tone to your day.
Marie, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just want to run through those five again
Yes.
to recap before we finish up. So there's kind of meditation,
Yeah.
there's gratitude,
Yes.
there's the I am kind of
Yes.
statements. There was what was the fourth one?
Reflecting on your goals.
Reflecting, and
Yeah.
then the fifth one was about nourishing the body through kind of exercise and nutrition. Uh,
Exactly. So kind of energizing the mind and body.
that's brilliant. Marie, thank you so much for joining us today. That's been really interesting and enlightening, and I certainly learned a lot. And I'm certainly very grateful that you were able to join us today. So thank you.
Thanks very much for having me, Brian. It was a pleasure.